Welcome to the Software Process and Measurement Cast number 782. I'm Tom Cagley, your host. The Software Process and Measurement Cast 782 features our conversation with Govind Balu on the importance of data and the concept of data transformations. Data represents the gold rush of the 21st century. A visionary entrepreneur and experienced executive with a strong background in leveraging data and AI to drive business growth across different industries. As the founder and CEO of QuaXigma, he spearheads the company's vision to transform organizations into data-driven enterprises. Govind observed that small and medium businesses struggle to effectively extract value from data and are unable to compete in a landscape where larger organizations more effectively leverage AI. Motivated by a desire to make data and AI easily accessible, Govind founded QuaXigma with a clear mission to develop and deliver solutions that deliver business value by focusing on innovation, customer satisfaction, and strategic consulting. Links in the show notes. Are you ready for the data gold rush? It's time for the interview. Govind Balu, welcome to the Software Process and Measurement Cast.
Thank you so much, Tom. Glad to be here.
I'm looking forward to our conversation. You've got quite a list of things that you're into and interested. I'd like to actually start on the data side. And let's start with, why is data so important? I mean, this is the 21st century, I know that, but it's become so much more important than it used to be. Why?
So there are many questions asked around the data. So I'm trying to make sure that I think I'll try to give my own definition. I think there is no right or wrong, right? If you're looking at a lot of misconceptions on the data, data is the raw materials. So every business, even including you and me, we collect a lot of data. Either it type in, you talk, everything, even what we are really recording is also the data. So there is so much what I call a value on the data, what we are collecting every single day. But as an organization, as individuals, as businesses, monetizing the value and extracting the value from the data is historically has been limited. I think we have been focusing on more on a collecting side, building the systems, generating a lot of the data. It's like, have you ever heard of so much garbage in the garage, so much garbage in your basement? We have been good at accumulating so much, but we barely use that. We don't know what exactly we even have in our closet. So where the data is start really making a huge value, we are asking the businesses to first go back and look at what you are collecting, what you have in your closet, what you have in the garage, what you have in the basement. Can you discover any of those data can be used for your own creating a value for the business? I'm going to give you a great example. I have a customer coming in and talking to me every single day. How I'm interacting with the customers, why the customer is calling, whether customer is interested in even continuing to have a discussion with me or not going forward. So if you are collecting all that information, if you're not going to be using the data, it's you're not really understanding who the customer is. I'm going to give you a very specific example of what happened 3 days ago. I was working with one of the top the communication company. They provided the network services such as your internet services, your TV services. And I went to them And I told them, I have the internet services. I just need to add TV services. They gave it to me. Here is exactly what I'm going to do. Then they send me the device. Couple of minutes back, and I call them back. They completely don't remember what they told me. They end up changing the price A to the price B. They completely messed up with what I have requested on it. Okay, I requested 3 different situations to go back and analyze it. Where went wrong? What did you guys messed up? What is that you are going to do to correct my order? So that data, what they have collected, they promised they're going to get back to me within 3 days. They did not. So looking at all the data, what I have provided, if they leverage the data wisely, what they have collected, what I told them, they could have been really taken care of me. Now they are about to lose me as a customer. So going back to a point is, the data is really, really important. What you are collecting it, but a lot of companies are struggling to extract the value. That's where I think your point of the data is, there is so much unpotential hidden value in the data, but a lot of businesses are struggling to extract the value. My perspective, at least my experience, has been data is an asset. Care about your data, continue to mature your data, try to figure out the best way to create a value for the businesses. Again, there are no shortcuts, Tom. I have to tell you. Whether you are using the data today, whether you are going to use the data tomorrow, you have to be good at start using the data. Otherwise, you are a potential to grow, differentiating yourself as a business in the market is going to be limited.
Organizations have all this data. Sometimes it's really siloed. And, in your example, it could be the call center had a chunk of the data, the CRM system had some of the data. It could be in a lot of different places. Who owns the data strategy or the data vision, perhaps, to decide, well, you know what? We really do need to leverage this, and we need to put it all together. Who is that?
That's an important question. So having lived with the big corporations for many, many years before I started my own startup journey, and I worked with for many, many corporations. So if you're looking at the Bank of America, CVS, Allstate, Walgreens, it is a journey as a companies that are still trying to figure it out honestly. Because I think if you have application systems, that's where the most of the data is being collected. That's a CIO owns it. Okay. But the CIO is responsible only, I'm going to collect the data. Hell, I don't know what to use that data, right? And business needs to figure it out. Okay, I like to use the data, but they don't know where the data is sitting in here, what data even we have. So the real answer, my opinion, is the collaboration between a technology and business need to come together, sit on the table, understanding as a company what data we are collecting, where the data is residing, how good the data is, right? Then start thinking about creating a data strategy. Rather what they do, hey, I need my data. Someone is going to be it generally starts with the business asking, and IT is going to go back and try to figure it out. Okay, this is the data maybe the business users are asking. They start bringing the data in. So a lot of times your business is asking one thing and IT is getting something. So that doesn't align. I think the right way to do it, okay, the ownership perspective, business is ultimately I'm the consumers of the data. And I need to have a ownership on what data I need, how I'm going to be leveraging the data. You as a delivery guy, at least the provider of the data, you own the quality of the data. When I come to you, you make sure that you bring the data, you give the quality of the data so that I can trust it. So there is, I think the right art of the right answer is a partnership. Collaboration between a business and the IT needs to work together and manage and leverage the data. So I think that's the right answer. But I think a lot of times either it is owned by IT, sometimes it's owned by the business, and by the time they are figuring out who owns the data, train is already left. They may not be able to use that data, so they're way behind even figuring out that battle. And I think that's why a lot of the companies are not able to move forward with their data initiatives. Yeah.
I'd add the complication that I think I would throw in the operations side of the house as separate from, let's say, just the IT part, right? That there's data there that they probably need to understand, and that may, if we were to draw a Venn diagram, that with business and IT and operations, those would all have some high degree of overlap, but there'd probably be parts that weren't. So if you have all of these players trying to collaborate, how do you facilitate that collaboration? I mean, because all of those people really think that, wrongly probably, but they all think they're the most important human beings on the face of the earth.
I have done that facilitator, the discussion. I think you can call what you call a collaborator or a host in between a business and the technology side. When I was working at Access Capital, one of the reinsurance company, they're based out of London, Bermuda, right? So you really need to bring a business and the IT together, put it in the room. You always need to start with what business problem are you trying to truly solve it, okay? And I think that I ask this question, I think many times. Okay, don't even bother to look for raw materials before you figuring out what is that you like to eat tonight for your dinner, okay? Do I like to eat a turkey sandwich? Do I like to eat a chicken sandwich? Or do I like to even go to somewhere else and get maybe, the sausage? So I think the question number one, I think you need to ask, what is that you really like to solve from the business perspective? That really needs to drive the what data I need, where the I need to get it, and how can I just use the data rather than a lot of people start with the bottom up approach. Okay. Which is fine. I mean, I'm not denying that. I think in some cases you need to work on the tactical problems. I may need to go with the bottom up approach. Let me take a look at what data I have before I can figure it out. That's fine. Again, there is no right or wrong answer. I think based on your situation. But I always start with the what problems we need to have. Going back to my Allstate days, even the insurance days, we have a high claims. So we were underwriting a product to the wrong people. Okay. First of all, we need to looking at why is that we have a high claims in the insurance companies. How can I prevent my claims? Okay. As an insurance company, you need to do the diligence. You need to find out you are really selling the right products to the right customers, and they minimizing your losses on the claims perspective. Otherwise you're gonna go back and they write a bunch of contracts, and every contract needs to be a claim, then you are never going to able to make the money. So your goal is to, as an insurance company, minimize the claim losses. Okay, that's the nature of the insurance business. So you start with my problem is, how can I understand the insurer risk? How can I prevent the claims? That means it starts with understanding the customers better, understanding where the claims are coming better, understanding how much premiums you are paying. Here is the, three problems right there. Now it's going to give you baseline understanding on what problems you're trying to solve. Then that's going to give you what data I need. So that discussion I just had, if we don't discuss with the business people, then if the IT guys is not listening in the same room, they don't have good understanding on what business is trying to solve. Okay, you need to have both people in the same room. You need to brainstorm it. You need to understand what the business problem is, then try to figure out how the data can truly solve that issues. So it is that's where the skill in the industry is lacking. To be honest with you, we have a lot of technical people. They're good with building the data infrastructure. There are a lot of good people. They understand the business well, but we have a few thought leaders in the market connecting the business and the data together. This is your problem. This is how you need to truly leverage the data to extract the value. So that's where we come in. And honestly, if I have to speak for the company I found, which is a QuaXigma, we are not a the technology company. We claim ourselves as the value creator. The best way to create value, connecting the business problem and the data, and show them here is how we are going to extract the business value. That's what I have done. I think going back to my experience with the Allstate, CVS. I don't know whether you know the CVS Extra Care, one of the largest the loyalty programs we have in the retail industry. We truly understand who are the customers who are walking into the store. We understand why they are walking into the store, what they're expecting the CVS stores to provide when they're walking into the store. So when you walk in and walk out, we like to create a best experience, best product purchasing in-store experience for you. That needs a lot of data. But if you don't understand that, when you walk into, Tom is walking into the CVS store, what should I do for him? Show him the right product, give him the best offer, make him easy to shop around within the store. If we don't understand those problems, I wouldn't know how to use my data, right? It's as simple as that. I think going back to a point, that integrator bringing a business and IT together, having that brainstorming, identifying what problems are relevant. I have to tell you one more thing. Not every problem is the right problem for a data and AI. That's for a lot of people. That's where I think they struggled. A lot of companies end up struggling, solving the wrong problems. They spend a lot of money, then they break head. I did not get my value. The reason you did not get value, you did not do your homework correctly. If you do your homework correctly, you're going to extract value.
So much of this whole discussion of data these days either goes down one of two paths. One is AI, and we can explore that perhaps, or down the aisle of digital transformations. Do organizations have to go down one of those paths, either digital transformation or AI, to get value out of data?
So I know we as a humans, we confuse with the different lingos and this. I'll simplify it very, very. Again, I hope there are many people that can say better than I could, but I'll try to explain what I think the way I classify it. So there are three components in the digital world. Okay, the first is collecting the right data, storing the right data, right place, securing the data, governing the data. It's all about you are managing your data. Okay. Digital transformation, which is nothing but someone manually doing that work. I'm gonna be automating it as much possible. Okay, that's what you're really taking a making the changes the way I have been running the business before. Okay, the digital transformation is in automation, the new way of doing the business using the data. So if you're looking at the data is an input, digital transformation is an output. So that's what I'm looking at. If you're looking at three components, you have the data is an input, and the digital transformation as output is a change. What the AI, it's almost like a processing engine. So looking at computer, you give an input, computer takes it and gives the output. AI is an enabler for an automation. So here is the reason give you. Okay, so if you go back and talk to Alexa, okay, show me the nearby restaurants. Okay, your input is show me the restaurants nearby. That's your input. That's your data. Okay, AI is looking at and listing out all the restaurants and pushing it to you. That output is what it's going to show up on your mobile app or your computer is the digital transformation. So the digital transformation can be done without a significant AI capabilities. That means wherever you don't need a sophistication, you can go back and do the non-AI driven digital transformation. Not that you cannot do it, but I think the more you start using AI as a driver to drive the digital transformation, you are a lot of hard coding into the technology coding is going to be removed. Okay, so a lot of preconceived assumption you are going to make is going to go away, because I think AI is going to self-learn. It's going to be based on your business changes that it's going to learn, start feeding into digital transformation. Let's play back again. Data is an ingredient you must need to have to run the digital transformation. Without the data, you cannot run the digital transformation. Okay, AI is the enabler. Okay, there are many ways to do the a digital transformation enablement. You can go back and hard code it. I think anyone understand the technology, I'm gonna hard code the business rules. I can make my digital transformation work automation done. That's what I think predominantly most of the applications today.
I think I've done that once or twice in my life.
I did that too. And the AI is taking out hard coding, make it much more a self-learning. Tomorrow, let's say I'm moving my business from point A to point B, so that you don't have to go back and do the lot of manual recoding of that. So AI is again, if we don't have the right data, and I'm going to tell you, AI may not be the right enabler for digital transformation. Okay, that's another thing you got to looking at. So I don't want to give a false impression to the audience who are listening. AI is absolutely required for the digital transformation. Probably not. Okay, but the data is you really need to have the data to drive the digital transformation. So going back to digital transformation is change in which how the organization try to take care of the customers, deliver their products and services. Okay, the predominantly they're trying to do the higher automation. Again, I'm not suggesting that you need to do higher automation without asking the question, but that's what the digital transformation is. Hopefully that gives you some clarity on it. Again,
I think that might have been the most succinct answer I've ever got on that topic. So, no, that was excellent. Albeit those rooms of data scientists building algorithms and sifting through the data to do that, Boy, I wouldn't want to be them when you throw an AI in the mix and have it do all that stuff for them. I don't know where they go, but c'est la vie. The idea, right? The idea of data, having a data vision, a data strategy, knowing the right questions, putting something to intermediate and enable taking data and having it help with the digital transformation. All organizations have all the right people to do that, right? They can just wave a magic wand and that will happen. Or how do they get there?
That's I would say tough question. Here is the reason why. Digital transformation is relatively a new way of doing the business, more predominantly using the technology. So we are, if you go back to many days, we all started with the mainframe, then we got to the client server technology, then we got into the, N-tier technologies. Now we are talking about a digital transformation. So the digital transformation is, I think, one way to characterize it. How can I better leverage the digital technologies, okay, to do the digital transformation? So if I'm answering your question correctly, so how can organization best achieve a digital transformation? So my simple answer is you must know why you are needing the change for the organization. Okay, so let's say I have been Uber as an example, right? I think we have been always calling the taxi on the phone and getting it. No one wants to do that anymore. Someone wants to push the button to do that, right? The other example I can tell you, I worked at Allstate. Okay, when you broke down on the road, you call us on the phone for a roadside assistance. Let's say you're driving in the middle of the night, there is snow in the night, and you wanted to call it. What we have decided, we don't want customers to struggle, reaching out to the call center reps. They may not understand your requirements where you broke down. We wanted to transform that experience into digitally. Okay. Now I need to introduce the digital transformation. What we have done, okay, you go back and look at it's called the Uber roadside of Allstate. We build an app, okay, regardless of where you broke down, you just open the app, click in, I need a towing service. Your a system can analyze who you are, Tom. Okay, Tom has a relationship with Allstate. Tom drives, BMW. Tom broke down into, Chicago. Tom is broke down in Chicago downtown, street number ABC. Now I need to find someone within the few miles where Tom broke down. I need to send him someone. Everything in the journey completely transformed the how it was done before with the new way of doing the business. So in this case, going back to a point, we started with the why we like to make the change. We like to improve your experience. We need to take out our anxiety when you broke down. We like to send you someone quickly to take care of you. Those are all the drivers to drive that transformation, digital transformation. So going back to a point is we really need to understand why you are looking for a change. Okay. The second important thing is they need to understand the change agent. Who would represent change agent? If you eliminate the people in the organization, they can part of the change. You're not going to get a good traction on it. You need to bring the people along with you. Let them know why you are introducing that change, why that's important to the organization. You need to take the people along with you. Ultimately, if you move the people out of the equation, implementing the digital transformation, adoption become a number one issue. So you need to let them know early on to do that. That's the second one. And the third one, you need to have a data strategy. Going back to my prior example, you need to have the data as an input to drive the digital transformation. And fourth one, you're looking at, do I need to have AI enablement? So every solution, going back to my Allstate example, yeah, we have done some AI, but not that much AI. All we have done, who is the right guy, a right towing company I can find in that neighborhood, based on the simple metrics like, how much is costing, how was his experience before serving the customers. We have done that. It's not extensive AI. Looking at the AI, so that's what we are looking at. Understand we are looking for a change. Take your employees along with you, implement the data strategy, look at, do I need a AI enablement, then bring all four ingredients together, run the digital transformation. Okay, that's what my simple steps are. People make it so complicated. It's not that complicated. It's, my opinion, it's a very, very simple. Take one use case at a time, implement it, extract the value. Going back to my Allstate, if you know the NPS score, Net Promoter Score, we were at 56 before we implement that change. After we implement that change, we were 72, Tom. So we went, 18 plus points, no time.
That's phenomenal. And I do know Net Promoter. Wow, that's fantastic. Govind, this has been absolutely fantastic. If you woke up tomorrow morning, somebody handed you a magic wand and your cup of whatever gets you out of bed, whatever caffeinated beverage of choice that you that works for you, and said you had 2 wishes that you could use that magic wand to solve 2 issues that impact digital transformations, what would those 2 issues be and why?
Again, this is my customer experience with the companies. I think it's a really underserved. Businesses are underserving the customers. Maybe there are top 10% of the big companies, they may be taking care of the customers, but in close to 70 to 80% of the customers still struggling. I gave an example beginning of this podcast, right? The company I just worked with, the largest internet provider, so I don't want to name it, okay? Largest internet provider. They don't have the basics set right, okay? So the one problem, I like to create a human experience, how we as a consumers are interacting with the businesses. Their experience needs to be humanized when I talk to the people. That I think it's an unsolved problem even today. We can sit here, we can say we solved it, we did not. Okay, we can go back and start creating a autonomous cart. Awesome, but you are really missing the core problem, improving the human experience with the companies we interact every single day. That's one problem number one. Okay. So the problem number two, majority of the jobs small to medium sized companies are creating. I'm a contributor of creating the jobs today, right? I have to tell you, I'm proud to say that I created already close to 60, 70 jobs across the globe, right? But there are small to medium sized companies are struggling to be up in the game. So they're competing with the big companies. They're struggling to grow. They're struggling to deliver the product and services. I truly encourage it to use the data and AI to help them to grow their business, help them to create more jobs, help them to more competing in the market. I want them small to medium sized company, right? I need to monetize the economy across all the organization. I'm not a big fan of creating an Amazon. I'm just going to tell you whether that's right or wrong to say that. I like to monetize the value across the many small to medium sized companies and share our value to those. So those are the two things bottom of my heart. I think the one is humanizing the experience with the businesses. Second one is a drive growth for the small to medium sized companies.
Super. How would people continue the conversation? How would they find out more about you and your organization?
Yeah, they can look it up me on LinkedIn by searching Govind is my first name and the last name is Balu. They can also reach out to me using email. It's called govind.balu at QuaXigma.com, QuaXigma.com. Or they can go back and look at our website. It's called QuaXigma.com. We come in the data world is almost like a top Google search company. They can look it up, right? Or they can send me a quick note on the LinkedIn also. I will respond, Tom.
Super. And I'll have all that contact information in the show notes. This has been fantastic, and it's been just absolutely wonderful educationally. At this point, as you know, I open up the platform for you, promote anything you like. So 2-3 minutes, the platform is yours.
I don't want to sell anything on this podcast, but the few things I would like to make sure that the audience are listening. So I encourage the people to start leveraging the data to run their business. Okay, I do, honestly. Okay, I don't want to go back, start asking the people to start using AI yet, because they need to understand the data is an ingredient. Okay, without the data, they cannot just go too far on this. Once they get to the maturity where they need with the data, then start using AI ML. So if you are a small to medium sized companies, if you're listening to this, it doesn't cost that much, okay? And it's not that hard. You got to start somewhere. Data is going to definitely enable them to grow their book of business. I'm using every day, right? I don't want to promote that, but I think they have to start somewhere with the data AI.
Again, Govind Balu, thank you. This has been absolutely marvelous, and I've learned a ton.
Thank you so much, Tom. It's nice talking to you.
In Reread Saturday News, in Chapter 9 of Leadership is Language, Marquet provides several examples of using the new plays. As a reminder, the plays in the new playbook are Control the Clock, Collaborate, Commit, Complete, Improve, and Connect. Each play is powerful. However, the combination of plays is where the real power is. Links in the show notes to this week's installment of Reread Saturday and all previous installments of Leadership is Language Reread Saturday. Buy a copy of the book and read along. In the Software Process and Measurement Cast number 783, we'll tackle a classic work intake problem. Did I forget to tell you the requirements changed? What happens when you don't have a clear line to the business to get feedback as you're doing work? Often, you get to do things over and over, and maybe over again. We'll also have a visit from Jeremy Barrio, bringing his Evolutionary Agilist column to the podcast. If process improvement is a never-ending journey, why do so many people ask, are we there yet?